There is nothing so convincing as a firm conviction. It has its own effect upon the most incredulous, and far from being incredulous, Mazarin was superstitious. He went away thoughtful and anxious, and returned to his own room, where he summoned Bernouin and desired him to fetch thither in the morning the special guard he had placed over Monsieur de Beaufort, and to awaken him whenever he should arrive. The guard had, in fact, touched the cardinal in the tenderest point. During the whole 5 years in which the Duc de Beaufort had been in prison, not a day had passed in which the cardinal had not felt a secret dread of his escape. It was not possible, as he knew well, to confine for the whole of his life the grandson of Henry IV, especially when this young prince was scarcely 30 years of age. But however and whensoever he did escape, what hatred he must cherish against him to whom he owed his long imprisonment, who had taken him, rich, brave, glorious, beloved by women, feared by men, to cut off his life's best, happiest years, for it is not life, it is merely existence, in prison. Meantime, Mazarin redoubled his surveillance over the duke, but like the miser in the fable, he could not sleep for thinking of his treasure. Often he awoke in the night, suddenly, dreaming that he had been robbed of Monsieur de Beaufort. Then he inquired about him, and had the vexation of hearing that the prisoner played, drank, sang, but that whilst playing, drinking, singing, he often stopped short to vow that Mazarin should pay dear for all the amusements he had forced him to enter into at Vincennes. So much did this one idea haunt the cardinal even in his sleep, that when at 7 in the morning Bernouin came to arouse him, his first words were, "Well, what's the matter? Has Monsieur de Beaufort escaped from Vincennes?" "I do not think so, my lord," said Bernouin, "but you will hear about him, for La Ramee is here and awaits the commands of your eminence." "Tell him to come in," said Mazarin, arranging his pillows, so that he might receive the visitor sitting up in bed. The officer entered, a large fat man, with an open physiognomy. His air of perfect serenity made Mazarin uneasy. "Approach, sir," said the cardinal. The officer obeyed. "Do you know what they are saying here?" "No." "Your eminence." "Well, they say that Monsieur de Beaufort is going to escape from Vincennes. If he has not done so already." The officer's face expressed complete stupefaction. He opened at once his little eyes and his great mouth, to inhale better the joke his eminence deigned to address to him, and ended by a burst of laughter, so violent that his great limbs shook in hilarity, as they would have done in an ague. "Escape, my lord, escape? Yes, I do, sir, in the donjon of Vincennes. Yes, sir, in a room, the walls of which are 7 feet thick, with grated windows, each bar as thick as my arm." "Sir," replied Mazarin, "with perseverance one may penetrate through a wall, with a watch spring one may saw through an iron bar. And my lord does not know that there are 8 guards about him, 4 in his chamber, 4 in the antechamber, and that they never leave him. But he leaves his room, he plays at tennis at the Mall. Sir, those amusements are allowed, but, if your eminence wishes it, we will discontinue the permission." "No, no," cried Mazarin, fearing that should his prisoner ever leave his prison, he would be the more exasperated against him if he thus retrenched his amusement. He then asked with whom he played. "My lord, either with the officers of the guard, with the other prisoners, or with me." "But does he not approach the walls while playing?" "Your eminence doesn't know those walls, they are 60 feet high, and I doubt if Monsieur de Beaufort is sufficiently weary of life to risk his neck by jumping off." "Hum," said the cardinal, beginning to feel more comfortable. "You mean to say, then, my dear Monsieur La Ramee, that unless Monsieur de Beaufort can contrive to metamorphose himself into a little bird, I will continue answerable for him." "Take care, you assert a great deal," said Mazarin. Monsieur de Beaufort told the guards who took him to Vincennes that he had often thought what he should do in case he were put into prison, and that he had found out 40 ways of escaping. "My lord, if among these 40 there had been one good way, he would have been out long ago." "Come, come, not such a fool as I fancied," thought Mazarin. "Besides, my lord must remember that Monsieur de Chavigny is governor of Vincennes," continued La Ramee, "and that Monsieur de Chavigny is not friendly to Monsieur de Beaufort. Yes, but Monsieur de Chavigny is sometimes absent. When he is absent I am there. But when you leave him, for instance, oh, when I leave him, I place in my stead a bold fellow who aspires to be His Majesty's special guard. I promise you he keeps a good watch over the prisoner. During the 3 weeks that he has been with me, I have only had to reproach him with one thing being too severe with the prisoners. And who is this Cerberus? A certain Monsieur Grimaud, my lord. And what was he before he went to Vincennes? He was in the country, as I was told by the person who recommended him to me, and who recommended this man to you, the steward of the Duc de Gramont. He is not a gossip, I hope, Lord a mercy. My lord, I thought for a long time that he was dumb. He answers only by signs. It seems his former master accustomed him to that.